So I'm introducing introduction part today. We are going to focusing actual kind of content in the tomorrow. So what kind of environment is required? What kind of prerequisite is required? Those things we are going to discussing, especially software industry level nowadays. Different kind of terminologies people are going to using. So the terminologies you need to aware first, especially software industry level nowadays. People are expecting uh, front end developer, back end developer. Sometimes people are going to call it a full stack developer, right? So these kind of terminologies you need to understand. So here I'm going to introducing full stack architecture, but we are going to focusing mainly front end technologies only. Okay. So what are the front end technologies we are going to discussing? So this is the front end technologies. So these technologies, if we are perfect, if we are good at these kind of technologies, we can consider we can consider full stack developer kind of thing. Okay. So this is the front-end technologies. Front-end technologies level, we are going to discussing HTML. HTML. Especially HTML is used for designing web pages. Okay. Any company websites, right? Or else any kind of e-commerce sites. Those kind of things, development purpose, HTML people are going to use it. Next one is CSS. Only HTML is not at all good. Why? Because HTML is just like a skeleton. So CSS is giving the style on top of that one. So look and feel purpose. For example, color, font, size, background, images, like that different styles. If we want to see, we are going to using what? CSS part. Next, we are going to discussing JavaScript. JavaScript. So especially JavaScript is front end and back end. That means client side and server side. Any kind of validations. For example, one student registration form is there. That form level fields are available. Student number, student name, mobile number, email ID. So these kind of things, you need to validate. You need to validate. So that is the purpose JavaScript people are going to using. Next, we are going to discussing a little bit on Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is basically a responsive kind of applications. That means I'm going to developing one web page. That web page I'm able to see in the mobile device level, tablet level, laptop level, or big screen level according to the device, pixels, resolutions. I need to change and I need to show the perfectly my site. That is the cases level. It is very much useful Bootstrap. Sometimes we are going to using jQuery library also. jQuery library. So what is the purpose of jQuery library? For example, you people are might be experiencing this kind of functionalities, especially online applications. If you are going to filling, you might be feel this kind of experience. What is that one? Suppose if you are going to selecting any kind of country related states drop box, it is going to get. If you are selecting the Dropbox states, state related districts, it is going to get. If you are going to select in the districts, based on that cities, it is going to get that one. So that kind of functionalities, dependent Dropbox kind of functionalities, if you want to develop, or else any websites level, if you are observe some kind of images, it is going to movie sliders. People are going to call it as sliders. So that kind of sliders are dynamic kind of any kind of data. If you want to fetch, that is the cases level. People are going to using jQuery. Next, another one is what? React JS. React JS. So React JS is basically JavaScript library. JavaScript library. So what is the JavaScript library? What is the framework? What the commutators are available? If I'm going to learn the React.js, what is the future? So is there any kind of difficulty to learn this kind of technologies? Is there any larger kind of coding is there? Is there any kind of logical thinking is there? Like that, so many questions people are going to get. One thing I will tell you, very less, very less compared to developer, very less kind of code is logical thinking is there. Code is there, but logical thinking is compared to developer point of view. Here, logic is you don't need to think bigger level. Even small effort is enough to complete the logic. Only thing is creativity is very important. Creativity is very important. If you are perfect these kind of technologies, you can climb UI developer, UI developer, or else I'm going to say front end developer or designer. We can say front end developer or designer. So sometimes some other kind of technologies also people are going to using. Why I'm going to mentioning here is I'm going to, even you are not aware, some of the applications, some of the application means one or two applications we are going to integrate in back-end application also. Why? Because you need to understand, you need to understand uh, full stack application. Why? Because even you are going to working in the front end also, how you are going to communicating back end application also you need to understand. So that the reason whenever I'm going to discussing React.js, whenever I'm going to discussing React.js, that time we are going to concentrating full stack kind of applications. So basically back-end technologies are people are going to using different kind of things. Sometimes people are going to using Java, sometimes people are going to using Java, sometimes people are using the Python, right? Sometimes people are going to using the .NET, etc. technologies are available. Okay, these are all back-end kind of technologies. So we are going to see some REST APIs. That REST APIs we are going to integrate with React.js application. So end of the training level, any kind of technologies people are going to asking front end, you need to connect those particular applications and develop the application, right? So that is the reason how we are going to communicating your React.js application to the backend application also we are going to learning. Okay, so especially I'm good at Java. That's the reason Java APIs, Spring Boot APIs, REST APIs I'm going to creating and I'm going to integrating with React.js application. So that is the cases level. That is the cases level you can able to understand full stack application how it is going to working. Next, sometimes people are going to using REST APIs development purpose. Some database also people are going to using that one. So here we are not focusing much more any database. Why? Because database people are going to using and developing REST APIs and all. Those kind of REST APIs we are going to consuming that one. Okay. So this is the kind of thing is I'm going to say back end or Java developer or backend developer. If you are perfect in Java, Java developer. If you are Python developer, .NET developer, like that it is there. So I'm going to say backend developer. This is the database. There are multiple kind of databases that people are going to using. You don't need to worry. Why? Because we are not at all learning all these kind of things. SQL sometimes people are using, sometimes people are using no SQL kind of thing and creating the REST APIs. But why I'm going to showing this one is this is the flow. Database people are going to using your backend developer. That backend developer is providing the APIs. That APIs we are going to using into the front end. So mainly we are going to focusing what front end part. Mainly we are going to focusing front end part. This is the one we are going to discussing. So according to content, day wise plan. Day wise plan also it is there. Each and every day, what we are going to discussing here, I'm going to showing that one. So day one, we are going to discussing actually HTML basics. Introduction to HTML. What are the HTML document structure? What are the HTML tags and elements are available? Headings, paragraphs, text formatting, how to do that one, creating the list to unordered order list kind of things, how to use, and adding links and images, how to do that one. That is the part is day one part. Okay. So today some basics we are going to concentrating. So what are the basics? HTML basics we are going to concentrating. What is the HTML? Anyone, any idea? Any idea is there? Just now I'm introducing HTML is used for developing the web pages, websites, right? So what is this HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay, Hypertext Markup Language. So we are going to see the HTML structure. That time I'm going to explain what is the way it is there. Hyper. Why people are going to call it as a hyper? Why we are going to call it as a markup? Why we are going to call it as a language? We are going to get the more clarity. But in this particular point of time, HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Like that, you need to remember that one. That is the kind of knowledge is abbreviation is enough. That kind of knowledge is abbreviation is enough. Please remember each and every point. Okay. Anyhow, this session is also recording that one. So if you have any kind of doubts, feel free to raise the question from the beginning onwards. Okay. So that it is easy to understand. Especially HTML is a markup language and not a programming language. Especially software industry level, there is a two different kind of languages are available. Language means not only English or Hindi. Software level, while writing the application, we are going to using different kind of languages. Those languages we are going to divide into two categories. One is programming language, another one is scripting language. HTML is a one kind of scripting type we are going to consider. HTML is used to create a web pages and web applications. It is very easy to understand and learn. Okay, it is and if you are going to see the structure and all, you can get the more clarity. But you need to understand here some key points. After that, I'm going to showing actual HTML structure. HTML provide a structure and a semantic for organizing and presenting content on the web. Sometimes we can see some images, right? Image surrounding some kind of text also, right? Some headings we are going to see. That is the kind of structure, organized way it is going to display. That is the purpose HTML is useful. HTML documents are, we are going to see what is the document, what are the kind of browser kind of components are there, how it is useful, we are going to see slowly. So we are going to using HTML level, different kind of elements we are going to using. Element means here HTML tags level it is there. Once I'm going to open the document, actually HTML documents, how we are going to compose it on different kind of elements, how we are going to use in the angulars. Angulars means less than or greater than, how we are going to using. So what kind of tags are available, how we are going to define the elements. Sometimes people are going to call it elements, sometimes people are going to call it the tags, HTML tags. How to define and all, we are going to discussing that one. So HTML document structure, once you are going to understanding, we are going to give the little bit introduction part. This one actually, my sessions are totally practical oriented, less theory, more practical. Okay, So these are all what we are going to discussing today. Your understanding purpose, I'm going to showing this particular slides. But these are all once you are going to starting, you can able to understand. Okay, test formatting, how to do that one, and HTML, how we are going to formatting the test. So what kind of tags, HTML tags are useful for tester formatting. So these kind of things we are going to discussing. After that, list kind of that list level, another list to list items. So how we are going to define, right? And how we are going to define the hyperlinks, and how we are going to provide the image links. So those kind of things we are going to discussing. Totally, these kind of things we are going to concentrating in the day one. Okay.